26 inches of rain fell in just 24 hours. Dam failures are already confirmed across Louisiana. Level 3 enhanced risk hits the Central Plains. Saturday, all hazards, including tornadoes, are on the table. EF2 plus tornadoes are on the table Sunday from Illinois through Indiana into Kentucky. This weekend is shaping up to be one of the most dangerous multi-day setups of the season. 3 weather emergencies are happening at once, and every single one of them demands your attention today. A large and powerful storm is about to sweep across the United States this Saturday and Sunday. Damaging winds, very large hail, and strong tornadoes are all possible from the Central Plains into the Midwest. At the same time, a major flooding disaster is unfolding across the Deep South with no end yet. And Arthur's remnants are still producing damaging weather from Texas through the Carolinas as we speak. Today is the lowest end severe weather day of the next 4, but that doesn't mean it's safe. A large marginal risk stretches from the East Coast back to Dallas and Fort Worth today. Nearly all of Florida is under a risk of severe thunderstorms as remnant activity pushes through. A level 1 risk is also up for Minneapolis, central Wisconsin, and parts of the Central Plains. The main concern today is isolated damaging wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour across these areas. Pocket change-sized hail is also possible across the Midwest or Central Plains this afternoon. There's a low tornado risk along the Carolina coastline through the late morning and early afternoon today. If you're headed to the Carolinas beaches today, be aware an isolated tornado is actually possible offshore. It's already very stormy across Texas and Oklahoma this morning with a giant cluster of thunderstorms rolling through. The main concerns with those storms are lightning, damaging winds, and localized flash flooding. Tornado risk is expected to be low today, but a Dallas spin-up is not out of the question. By afternoon, that stormy complex tracks toward Shreveport, San Antonio, and Houston with isolated damaging gusts. Most activity wraps up by 8 or 9 p.m. Rain just keeps piling up across the Deep South. The rain down here just keeps falling, and that is the other massive story happening right now. The flooding across the Deep South has my full attention. The levels here are genuinely historic. Near Cottonport, Louisiana, over 26 inches of rain fell in the last 24 hours alone. Here's perspective. 26 inches of rain is the equivalent of roughly 260 inches of snow. That's over 21 feet of snow equivalent, and it all came down as rain in a single day. There have been dam failures, flash flood emergencies, and stranded vehicles all across the region. This is the devastating power of a slow-moving tropical remnant, weak winds, relentless rainfall. More rain is still coming over the next couple of days. This event is nowhere near done. An additional 1 to 5 inches is expected from Tyler, Texas, all the way over to Tallahassee, Florida. The areas of greatest concern are Monroeville, Bogalusa, and Alexandria, already hit extremely hard. Some localized pockets could pick up another 5 to 10 more inches on top of what's already there. And with the ground fully saturated, more dam failures are considered likely before this event ends. This is an incredibly dangerous situation. Make sure your weather alerts are fully active right now. The weather map right now shows flood watches and wind advisories blanketing the entire Deep South. From Texas across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and into Georgia, orange warnings cover everything on that map. If you live in these states, now is the time to know your routes and safe shelter locations. Drop your city name in the comments below. We'll update you on conditions in your specific area. Now let's move to the biggest severe weather event of the weekend, and that's Saturday's setup. Saturday has my absolute full attention. This could genuinely be a very long day of severe weather. The SPC issued a level 3 enhanced risk for southern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, and central Kansas. The enhanced zone includes haze and Salina, and this is a high-confidence, well-organized setup. Surrounding it is a level 2 slight risk covering Kansas City, Lincoln, and Wichita. A large marginal risk also stretches from Montana all the way down to central Oklahoma on Saturday. Every single hazard is on the table Saturday: damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. Damaging wind gusts could range anywhere from 60 to 85 miles per hour with the strongest cells. The upper end of 85 miles per hour is essentially hurricane-force wind in the middle of June, folks. The hail threat is extremely serious. I'm anticipating supercells capable of producing baseball-sized hail. In southern Nebraska and northern Kansas, I think we could see hailstones up to the size of softballs. I believe this hail risk has a real chance at being upgraded before Saturday afternoon even arrives. And there is a real conditional risk of EF2 plus tornadoes Saturday afternoon and into the evening hours. Discrete supercells in Nebraska and Kansas are a serious concern. Storm mode is the key question. By 4 p.m. Saturday, storms will start firing over western Nebraska and east of Denver. Those initial supercells will work with a favorable environment where a couple of tornadoes could develop. The ones east of Denver will likely start elevated, mostly hail and wind near Scottsbluff initially. The low-level jet starts cranking hard by 7 to 8 p.m. Saturday. That's when this turns serious. By 7 p.m., a few supercells should be scattered across northeast Colorado and western Kansas. Tornado parameter values start climbing toward 3 in some spots by 7 p.m. That's very noteworthy. The tornado parameter scale runs from 0 to 10. A value of 3 already represents a meaningful threat. By 8 to 9 p.m., more supercells could be forming near Kearney and North Platte in central Nebraska. Those cells could evolve into tornadic supercells somewhere between 8 and 10 p.m. Saturday night. By 10 p.m., it gets really messy. Multiple clusters of thunderstorms fire across Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. The main threat with those southern storms is straight-line winds. Nebraska keeps the tornado concern highest. If you live in Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Iowa, or Missouri, multiple ways to get weather alerts are essential. This has all the makings of a dangerous nocturnal severe weather event, including overnight tornadoes. By midnight, the tornado threat should begin easing, but a lone twister near Kansas City is still possible. If you live anywhere in the Nebraska or Kansas area, drop your city in the comments right now. We want to get you the most specific forecast information for your community as quickly as possible. Bottom line for Saturday, if you're in the enhanced or slight zone, treat this day seriously. Keep your phone charged, know your safe shelter location, and have your plan made before the storms arrive. The time to prepare is right now, not Saturday afternoon when the first cells are already firing. Now let's move to Sunday, and there's still a lot of uncertainty in this part of the forecast. The remnant system from Saturday continues tracking east toward St. Louis through Sunday morning. I think the most likely scenario is that the low pressure stays strong and organized near the surface. That should produce an elevated risk of severe weather across Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky Sunday afternoon. A future upgrade to an enhanced risk across this corridor is very possible before Sunday arrives. Think about what this area just went through. Tornadoes ripped through Illinois and Indiana just days ago. And now we're potentially looking at another round of rotating supercells in that exact same corridor. By around lunchtime Sunday, rotating supercells could form near St. Louis and Mount Vernon, Illinois. By 3 to 4 p.m., those supercells track toward Effingham, Princeton, and Evansville, Indiana. Back to the west, supercells across Kansas and Missouri will be capable of all-hazard Sunday as well. The significant tornado parameter south of Kansas City is forecasted to reach 2 to 3 Sunday afternoon. With discrete supercells in play, anyone riding along a boundary could produce a strong tornado. By 8 to 9 p.m., storm activity continues across Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and into Ohio. Heading into Monday, that storm complex slowly pushes toward the Mississippi River Valley. It's nothing dramatic by Monday, but isolated damaging wind gusts and a low tornado risk remain. This weekend is not going to be quiet. That's just the plain truth for a lot of folks. Where are my viewers in St. Louis, Chicago, and Indianapolis? Drop your city in the comments below. If there's a specific city you want covered in more detail, just let us know in the comments. Your real-time reports from the ground help us track what's really happening across these regions. What part of this forecast concerns you most, the flooding, Saturday's tornadoes, or Sunday's setup? Now let's zoom out because this weather roller coaster shows no signs of stopping after this weekend. As we head into early next week, another storm system is expected to come out of Montana. That early week system looks like it could bring isolated severe weather to portions of the Midwest. As of now, though, it doesn't look substantial, more of a heads-up kind of situation. The middle of next week looks to be the quieter period, a breather before things pick up again. By next weekend and into early July, the Midwest and Northern Plains should see more significant systems. It's still a bit early to nail down exact details for those early July setups with confidence. But this is not the kind of summer where you can let your guard down for very long. Let's come back to the flooding. This other story unfolding across the Deep South is absolutely critical. Over 24 inches of rain fell in 24 hours ending at 3 a.m. this morning near Cottonport, Louisiana. That's 2 full feet of water from the sky in one day, a genuinely catastrophic amount of rainfall. There have been dam failures, flash flood emergencies, and reports of stranded vehicles throughout the region. A whole lot more rain is still coming across this region over the next couple of days. The forecast calls for an additional 1 to 5 inches from Tyler, Texas to Tallahassee and Valdosta. Some localized pockets near Monroeville, Bogalusa, and Alexandria could pick up another 5 to 10 inches. When piled on top of what's already fallen, some communities could end up with truly staggering totals. More dam failures are considered likely given the sheer volume of water still flowing through the region. The number one rule in any flooding situation is the same rule we always come back to. Turn around, don't drown. That simple rule has saved more lives than any other weather safety message. 6 inches of water can knock you off your feet. 2 feet can carry away an entire vehicle. No time savings is worth risking your life trying to drive through a flooded roadway. Just don't. If you're in southeastern Louisiana, Alabama, or southern Mississippi, please have an evacuation plan ready. And please check on your elderly neighbors and family members who may be in these flood zones. Let me quickly explain why Saturday's setup looks so favorable. The ingredients are really lining up. Deep Gulf moisture is clashing with a powerful shortwave trough diving in hard from the northwest Saturday. That collision creates explosive atmospheric instability where supercells develop fast and grow violent quickly. The low-level jet Saturday evening could crank to 50 or even 70 knots, turbocharging the tornado risk. When that jet peaks, any supercell near a boundary will have serious tornado-producing potential. Kansas City, you're in a marginal risk today, but a slight risk Saturday, so stay weather-aware all weekend. Wichita, Kansas, you're in the level 2 slight zone Saturday with damaging winds and large hail expected. Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, the level 2. Slight risk puts you right in the path of Saturday's worst. Denver residents, you're near the edge of the enhanced zone, with elevated storms possible east of the metro. Oklahoma City and Tulsa, you're in the marginal zone, but still need to watch storms Saturday and Sunday. Chicago and Indianapolis, Sunday's setup is looking increasingly more serious than the current outlook shows. St. Louis, you're at the center of the Sunday elevated risk with all hazards possible in your area. Memphis and Nashville, keep a close eye on Sunday's storm complex as it pushes toward your region. Houston and San Antonio, today's storms arrive this afternoon with isolated damaging wind gusts possible. Tallahassee and Jacksonville, Florida, look for isolated winds and hail during the late morning into afternoon. Minneapolis and central Wisconsin, a few hailstorms and isolated 60 miles per hour gusts are possible this afternoon. Myrtle Beach and Wilmington, that low tornado risk along the Carolina coastline applies to you through mid-morning. If your city isn't on that list, drop it in the comments. We'll get you a specific update. Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi viewers, you're dealing with flooding and possibly more storms this weekend. Make sure your weather apps and NOAA radio are fully active this weekend. No warnings should be missed. Let's step back and look at the full picture this weekend as part of a very active pattern. Multiple rounds of severe weather, a major flooding disaster, and tropical activity are all happening at once. This is not typical June activity. This is genuinely unusual and historically significant weather. When you combine Louisiana's flooding with Saturday's tornado risk and Sunday's continuation, this weekend is stacked. The Deep South is soaked, the Central Plains are about to explode, and the Midwest is next Sunday. Take this weekend seriously, not to panic, but because being prepared genuinely saves lives. 3 separate weather emergencies are converging at once, and each one has real deadly potential. The flooding near Cottonport is already at historic levels with over 2 feet of water in one day. The Saturday tornado threat in Nebraska and Kansas is real and absolutely worth preparing for today. The Sunday window in Illinois and Indiana is the one I'll be watching most closely on the models. The best thing you can do this weekend is have your emergency plan ready before Saturday afternoon. Know your nearest shelter, keep your phone charged, and don't wait for a warning to take action. Warnings give you minutes, preparation gives you options, and this weekend options might really matter. To everyone in the flood zone, stay safe, stay off the roads, and check on your neighbors. To everyone in the Saturday severe weather corridor, have your plan, know your safe spot, stay alert. To everyone watching Sunday's Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky setup, stay plugged in, because this forecast is evolving. This weekend will write its own headlines. How those headlines read depends on whether people were ready. Stay weather aware, stay connected to your local forecast, and most importantly, stay safe this weekend. The pattern doesn't ease up much after this weekend, so get used to staying switched on out there. Stay safe out there. An informed and prepared community is always a safer community for everyone.